Welcome to this edition of Hindsight is Horrifying, the show where three mostly normal and somewhat cynical adults discuss life as members of the TV generation. Now here are your hosts, Darth Jada, Jason Mitchell, and Adam B.
Hello. People in the land of the internet, welcome.
Welcome.
I'm glad to have you here.
We are back. We never left, actually.
We're here to finalize Halloween, despite the fact that we have bled into November.
Yes, we have.
Yes. And so it's not so much that we're looking to scare with this one.
But if you have any acid, take it now. Because this was a Mr. Brown selection. And I have to say, Adam, this is a rather quirky selection. He's a quirky turkey.
It's like one of those film strips from when we were in school and you hear the ding. Take your acid now.
Exactly. LSD will work too. Either way, you'll be fine. The movie will actually make sense if you're watching along with us.
Well, why don't you tell the good people of the internet world what we're watching?
We are watching Phantom of the Paradise, and the synopsis for this bizarre piece of cinema.
Wait, the Andrew Lloyd Weber one or the?
Yeah, an exact remake actually.
Oh,
before it came out.
I love Phantom of the Opera.
It was Brian De Weber. Brian De Weber.
But yeah, it's called Phantom of the Paradise, so it's a bit of a trippy, different movie. It came out in 1974, and it's about a scarred rock opera composer, William Finley. He attacks a music mogul, Paul Williams, who has made a deal with the devil.
Yes.
That's kind of it. I mean, that's sort of, it's, it is a Brian De Palma film.
Mm-hmm.
What else has Brian De Palma done?
Oh,
you kidding?
I'm just asking. It's to make conversation.
What, like the best thing Brian De Palma did?
Yeah, what's the best thing? Well, Carrie. He did Carrie.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Which had a little crossover, cast-wise.
Because
Yes, it did.
Sissy Spacek lost out on the role to, who was it, Jennifer Harper?
Alison Brie?
Yeah. That's who would
We
play her
wish.
these days.
Yeah.
Alison Brie's a little too young to have starred in this movie.
Actually, the actress who plays Phoenix. And
Jessica Harper.
Jessica Harper, yeah.
Jessica Harper, that's right.
She also was in both the original and the remake of Suspiria.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, but no, so Phantom of the Paradise, a couple of things that have to be stipulated first. Premiered before Rocky Horror.
Even though it's like this bizarre blend of Grease, Phantom of the Opera, the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Death Race 2000.
Yeah. I can see the Death
It's
Race
kind
part.
of a...
But it came out before Rocky Horror, before Andrew Lloyd Webber's Phantom of the Opera.
And it wasn't even based on the
No,
book,
it's
the
not.
Phantom of the Opera. It's based on the original Phantom of the Opera movie, because in the book, the Phantom of the Opera was disfigured from birth. He didn't have a horrible comic book villain type accident like it happens in this movie.
Yeah, it's basically Faust.
Yeah.
It's like two levels of Faust, and we'll get into that.
And a bit of picture of Dorian Gray.
Yeah.
Some Dorian Gray. It is basically, though, all those things aside, what it is, I think, is an indictment of the music industry, the professional recording industry. Specifically, I guess, in all of the 60s and the first couple of years of the 70s, the times when the industry was run by Phil Spectors and people like that.
Exploitation, a lot of exploitation.
A lot of
Dear
exploitation.
God, the poor women in this movie. Yeah, they were exploited big time.
But from that era, though, comes the star of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You described him, I think, earlier as an icon or a treasure.
Oh,
Yes.
an American treasure.
American treasure.
Yes.
And who are we talking about?
None other than...
Paul Williams.
Yeah.
Now, our older hindsighters will know who that is. We did do Smokey and the Bandit. Was he in? He was Smokey and the Bandit. Or was that part 2? I can't remember.
No, he was Little Linus.
He was Little Linus.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And interesting fact, gentlemen, it was a bit strange how this lined up because I had to have a palate cleanser after watching this movie last night. And I turned on Community, and who's guest starring in a tiny little guest spot but Paul Williams.
Paul Williams, yes.
Yeah, the gang finds a bunch of books that they're trying to hawk, and Paul Williams is the potential buyer. But it's so funny because he just looks at them and he's like, "Oh no." this is the misprint. I don't think so, sweetie, and just walks away from.
That's all
Shirley.
you need from Paul Williams.
Yeah.
I guess so.
But
He's in a lot of movies, though.
He is. But I mean, I think he's obviously best known for his music.
For sure.
See, I would have to disagree. I think it depends on your generation because I didn't know he was a composer.
Oh my gosh.
You surprised the hell out of me when
That's surprising.
when
He's
you
an
told
Academy
me.
Award winning
Yeah.
composer.
Yes.
Well, I mean, okay, the two that spring to mind. One is Old Fashioned Love Song
Mm-hmm.
by Three Dog Night. Three Dog Night
Ooh.
sang it.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
But Paul Williams wrote. It's just an old fashioned love. Yeah.
song.
And also a song that to this day, me at almost 43, I still tear up when I hear it.
oh, same.
Aw.
No, I'm with you on that.
Rainbow Connection. I don't know why,
It's one of the most beautiful songs ever.
but it's like it hits that little, that spot in your brain that makes you, all.
I think there's
Right.
nostalgia for everyone when it comes
Yeah,
to that
yeah.
particular song because
Yeah.
the Muppets, they kind of transcend age groups because they've been around for so long. So
See my story from last week about my kid getting in trouble because of a Muppet.
Oh,
Anyway,
that was not a Rainbow Connection.
no.
Yeah.
wah, wah.
So yeah, the movie itself, and admittedly,
he was in a Muppets Christmas.
Oh well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, he sang a duet with
Letters to Santa.
Miss
Piggy?
on
Piggy.
on the Muppet Show.
Did she hit on him like she hit on Mark Hamill?
I think she did. Yeah, he actually looks a little like Mark Hamill in his. If you look him up on IMDb and you look at the picture they have there, there's a little bit of Mark Hamill.
I can see
Yeah.
it. They both have a very 70s look about
Yeah.
them. But yeah, he was in The Princess Diaries, so I
But-
would have seen him in that. The Bold and the Beautiful, Postal
Oh,
Worker.
I would have seen him in that.
He was in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show. He's been in a ton of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Well, the movie though is right in line with sort of the type of movies that I've been watching a lot lately, which is surreal, abstract, weird.
They are. It
Just
is.
weird.
it's the season
know,
for it. We just
well,
came off the Halloween season.
No,
so.
I don't think it's a season thing. I think it's more of
Genre.
people making movies that don't just tell you a normal story, but it goes off in this, it surprises you just from a different style showing up. I don't know. But I liked it though.
I
I'm gonna say,
enjoyed the
yeah.
colors. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed the time frame because I remember it just a little bit.
You were a little baby.
I was a little bitty baby.
This is what,
in the
70,
70s.
74?
74.
5 years before my birth.
Yes. Well, I remember being at a friend's house, and this was on HBO. It was playing on HBO.
Mhm.
And I said, Phantom of the Paradise? What is this? And I'm like watching it. And you know, the guy with the bird head and the
Yeah, who
silver
looks like
teeth and the
Frankenstein.
lightning. I remember the lightning bolt. It was
Yeah.
it was the neon lightning bolt. And I was like, this is a bizarre movie.
Well, that lightning bolt, actually, interesting story. It when they had to talk to Led Zeppelin to basically get all the conflicts of references.
Well,
that,
before you say that, why don't you tell them what the conflict was?
Well, it was many of them. Like there was the logo that they had to hide on the podium. When apparently the producers screened the movie for Peter Grant, and he cried because when a spoiler alert, when Beef gets electrocuted and killed at the end of the movie, Grant broke down into tears because the scene reminded him of the onstage electrocution death of Les Harvey, the lead singer of Stone the Crows, and apparently they were friends.
What a great band name.
That really
Stone the Crows. That's a
Whoa.
fucking awesome
and
band
it feeds
name.
into the bird theme as
It
well
does.
for this movie.
It does.
Because you got Phoenix, you have Swan. I mean, even the Phantom himself has a very bird-like look. And
Yeah.
he seriously, to me, looks like Frankenstein's. David Carradine is Frankenstein, and Bird Person had baby.
I think he actually turns in an impressive performance.
I agree.
Particularly in all of the scenes before he becomes the Phantom. He's very, very good when you can see his face. As the Phantom, he's limited by the character.
Sure, especially like the angle of his face, because one of his eyes.
Well, and the voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but before then, it's a really, really good performance.
Yeah.
Well, they shot that in a complete circle as he was playing.
Yeah.
So as a director,
Yeah.
I can really appreciate a lot of the camera angles, the editing.
Well, they do
It's
the
interesting.
the one take when he sets the time bomb
Yeah.
to kill the juicy fruits.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
which will explain who those are in a second. I just wanted to say real quick, I had to look it up because I was thinking about 74. That's right before I was born, and I thought, I wonder if this movie was playing. 5 years too long. So I said, I wonder what was the number one movie in America the day I was born. I never looked that up in my life.
What was it?
Superman.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, Superman.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number one.
I'm gonna
movie was when I was
replace
born.
Zodiacs. We're gonna get rid of Zodiacs, and that's how your fate is gonna be.
I like that.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get thrown into a Coke truck, is what you're telling us?
Yeah. Or the only way I can save the world is to be Superman 4: The Quest for Peace.
Oh,
And funny, oddly enough, my son and I were just talking about Superman earlier today, and we were thinking them sitting around the table trying to name a comic. Well, this guy, he's like amazing. He's super. What should we call him? How about Superman?
really?
I love it. I love it. Let's go with it.
Really, Phoenix person.
Yeah.
That's what we came up with.
Is that where we landed?
And he slips into his shoes. What should we call those? How about slippers?
Well, it's like we were discussing off camera, gentlemen. Words don't have any inherent relationship to the objects that they describe. People as nations just got together and said, this thing right here will be called a can. And we all just agreed to it. And we can convey complex feelings and messages with words that don't technically mean anything. Like Cheryl on Archer, when she's reading off the list of weapons that Archer wants and it's nonsense. And the arms master is like, she's like, those words are made up. And he goes, they're all made up. And she's like, oh, you're blowing my mind, man.
Mind blown.
Death Records. Okay, that was the name of it.
Well,
It was
why
originally
don't we tell a little bit about who our star is?
Yes. So you have Paul Williams, who's Swan, and he owns the Paradise, and he owns a record company.
And what is the Paradise?
The Paradise is a rock palace.
like a club. I think a new club. That
No,
was
I'm trying to
opened,
think of
right?
the actual term they used for it,
I think Rock Palace.
Okay.
That sounds familiar.
which is
Now
exactly
let's
what
look
it is.
through the Rolodex here. They're looking through the Rolodex.
I've got a fun fact about that.
And I heard that there was a bunch of interesting celebrities there.
There are.
Yeah.
So Swan, Paul Williams, tricks Winslow Leach into giving him his, genius. What's the word he keeps using?
Cantata.
Cantata. And he's a brilliant songwriter, and so Swan completely rips him off and steals his material. And when Winslow
they
goes
do.
to, meet up with Swan and, get his claim to fame, he gets turned out. But when he goes to the receptionist, it's great because the Death Record Secretary card index includes files on Alice Cooper, David Geffen, Bette Midler, Peter Fonda, Dick Clark, and Chris Christopherson.
Yes.
And one of the cards, Winslow's card specifically says, because the secretary runs into a lot of people throughout the day, so she's got a label for people who Swan will or won't see, but it says never to be seen in like capital bold letters on Winslow's card, and they kick him out with, some comical overcrank.
Yes. Oh, I hate Overcrank. I hate Overcrank. But I know why they did it in this case, though, so it's okay. Winslow, the star of our movie.
Yes, who becomes the Phantom.
Yeah, he's and I think that's one big difference between this and the actual Phantom story, is because the Phantom never had a normal life in the book.
Now, I think this is supposed to say Swan Song. I think they missed one when he's just entering, or it might have been the other one. Anyway, something that we can look for. Because did we mention Swan Song and the legal
No.
I
issues?
mentioned that there were complications and conflicts with Led Zeppelin, but we didn't specifically mention that. No.
We can talk about that later, but I didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, so our protagonist, up-and-coming music writer.
Is he the protagonist? According to your definition, isn't he the antagonist because he brings about the change with Swan?
The Swan change?
Well, he upheaved his whole life, and spoiler alert, kills Swan in the end. So
I don't really think there is one in this movie. I don't think none of the characters develop at all.
that's true because everybody dies.
Well, I mean, Phoenix, her character's not.
Yeah, you don't get any
different.
resolution with her. That's true. Okay, well, anyway, so
Phoenix, who is so cute.
she's cute as a button.
Yeah, it's
But-
Annie. It's
No,
Alison Brie. I'm
she
telling
does
you.
look like Alison Brie a little bit, or Alison Brie looks like her.
And he looks like White Abed.
Oh my God, he does.
He
You're
reminds me a little
singing
bit.
my cantata.
He
Cool.
He reminds
Cool,
me
cool,
a little
cool.
bit of Allison Janney.
I can
Allison
see.
Janney.
I know I should know who that is. Hang
She's
on.
very tall.
Yes.
That's the joke. She's been mentioned on Family Guy several times, and
And
it's
he's
always a
6'5".
tall joke. Oh, well, there you
He's
go.
6'5".
Oh,
Aw.
okay, I can see it.
They'd be
Aw.
they'd be a great couple.
I suppose.
But he's
got these
he
big-
died in 2012.
Well,
William
okay,
Finley.
fine. If he's not going
Did
to,
he?
you know, if he's
Aw.
look, relationships are two-way streets, and if he's going to be that way about it,
That's it.
I can't be, I can't matchmake for him.
That's so mean. But yeah, so he's completely taken with Phoenix when she's auditioning for Swan, and she's just auditioning to be a backup singer. She doesn't really have a shot for a starring position in the rock opera, or the cantata, as it were. And gentlemen, what is the actual audition process that these ladies are forced to go through?
It's very thorough. It's very.
Yeah, they study them inside and out.
You really have to expose yourself as an artiste.
I do
Yeah.
believe Swan has a lot, much in common with some of the producers that have been outed.
Well,
recently.
I think this scene, we should say,
Harvey.
is a
Yes,
use of
that was the joke.
use of sex as a auditioning tool, which I think is the college course when you take it. That's how you,
And given the fact that
but
there
it's
is so
not.
much,
Well, I was going to say it's not representative of the actual industry though, because the actual industry isn't nearly as tasteful as this.
yeah, and that goes to my point is that considering it was a Mr. Brown selection, I was surprised that there weren't more naked ladies in this movie.
Well, there were some that were dressed very provocatively.
Yes, but they weren't all out naked. But
No,
there was
that's
definitely
true.
some girl-on-girl action, so I can sort of see why you might have enjoyed this
It was
as a
bit,
kid.
a bit titillating.
Oh, goodness.
But he goes in and he hears people singing his music, the poor naive
Yeah.
fellow. And they're all auditioning for the cantata that is based on his music that he got screwed out of because
Yeah.
he trusted Swan.
Yes, he did.
Swan's like, let me take this and I'll make you famous. And then he never hears from him again.
Yeah, no paperwork, no nothing. He
Yeah.
was a little naive that way, though. He was just thrilled with the idea of somebody recognizing that he has talent and that he could share his music with the world. He
Oh.
was
Yeah.
excited about
How
that.
many times has that
He
happened?
he needs a better or
To me,
any.
last Tuesday.
He needs a lawyer.
A good lawyer.
Yeah.
So not you.
even a bad one, even a bad one, just anyone. In fact, actually, not even a lawyer, a bum off the street who would go, "Hey, mister, I think you shouldn't sign that."
I think the...
It's pretty obvious to me you're selling your soul to the devil, you idiot.
Well, no, that doesn't come until later because you don't know at first who Swan is or what his backstory is. So the point of him is that he did sell his soul to the devil because he was going to commit suicide when he was a younger man. And then he's in the bathtub that has a mirror.
Now you're
Facing
talking
the
about
bathtub?
Swan. About Swan. I just want to make sure.
Paul
There.
Williams.
Yeah.
No, that's-
Paul
I
Williams,
said Swan.
AKA Swan.
So he's in the bathtub, and then all of a sudden his reflection in the mirror, because who doesn't have a mirror just, at the edge of their bathtub?
It makes things look, bigger.
I
Well,
thought
depends on-
shaving did that.
Well,
Oh, I was talking about the room. Makes the room
yeah,
look bigger.
it makes the room look bigger.
God.
What were you thinking
wrong
about,
with you?
Jade? Oh my God, so dirty.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Anyway,
No,
proceed.
but he's looking at himself in the mirror, and then his reflection is suddenly the devil. And the devil's like, "Oh, you were about to kill yourself. If you sell your soul to me, I'll keep you young forever." The only,
what cut rate, James Mason?
but the requirement for Swan to remain young forever, because he videotapes his entire
It's
life.
very specific.
Yeah, he has to watch the video of him signing his soul over to the devil at least once a day,
Yeah.
and that's what keeps him youthful. Because
And
what
and
purpose
if
does
the
that
tape
serve?
if the tape is destroyed,
It's very Dorian Gray. He dies.
yeah, because the tape is going to age instead of him or something. And it's weird because then he goes off and he
Unless you're
begins
girl-on-girl action.
subcontracting to
Yeah,
other
he's a master
people.
contractor
The
in a Ponzi
satanic
scheme.
period.
Well,
period scheme,
that's
yeah.
what I was going to say. Hell is just a pyramid scheme.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why did this girl have her back to us the whole time?
Because it is Winslow.
Aw.
So there's all the girls laying on a very large round bed, getting very, I don't know, provocative or sensuous,
This is-
preparing for Swan.
Sensual.
They're behaving in a way that a person who's never been with a woman
Yes.
thinks that women behave when they all get together on in a room like this.
But now, what does Swan say to him when he's there? I'm Winslow Leach, and then he tells him to get out of there, but he calls him a horrible.
he
horrible
uses
thing.
a slur commonly associated with gemakschuls.
Get this fag out of here, they say.
I literally just tried not to say.
I read it. I just read what was presented.
Oh God.
Okay.
But yeah, the women are just like writhing all
He's a
around
bad
Paul
guy.
Williams. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just
Very bad.
stress.
He's
Yeah.
got a very Elton John kind of vibe to him.
He does. Yeah, he's got an extremely Elton John
With the
kind
big
of vibe.
glasses
Yeah.
and the
But how tall is Paul Williams?
I mean, I
He's
always
rather
assumed he was
tiny.
like 4 feet tall.
I think he is very, very small.
even on Community, he was walking away from Shirley, and I was just like, wow, he
One
is
of-
not.
by the way,
tall.
one of the cops in this scene sounds just like Mr. Goldenfold. If you don't know who that is, look it up.
You don't pay with
He
money.
looks like Carl Weathers, the one cop, and then
Yeah.
they just plant like a little bag of
Yeah.
Smack. is what they call
pork
it.
or
Paul
heroin.
Williams. Paul
Yeah.
Williams is 5'2".
okay. He's
5'2". He's shorter
So
than Richard
you're-
Hammond.
You're more than a foot taller than he is.
I am.
That's crazy.
He's a
Yeah.
big man.
Uh,
I'm a big man.
How
He's
much
a
is he
small man.
worth?
we don't need to hear about that.
I am not worth twice what he is.
Yeah.
That's
Let's
for
find
sure.
out. But yeah, so Swan,
lot.
Swan kicks Winslow out and gets his corrupt cops who are in his pocket to plant drugs on Winslow, and he gets shipped to like Alcatraz or Sing Sing.
Sing Sing, yeah.
Oh God.
Even
And-
though I don't think Sing Sing is on the water, but
No,
maybe.
that would
I
be
don't know.
Rikers Island.
Oh,
the river.
okay.
And
okay.
they shot. Did they shoot this in New York? They were
I
living
don't
in
know.
New York. They
I
were
think it
living
was
But-
actually in New York City.
But fun thing about this movie, what I think is possibly the funniest thing about this movie. Okay, it was a commercial flop.
Except,
Well, that's where I'm
Here it
going.
comes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Except for some people would say two cities, but really Paris just kind of liked it more than everybody else. They didn't
Yeah.
love it. Winnipeg, for some reason,
it played for months in Winnipeg.
it was still playing a couple years after, just not continuously.
Yeah, and David Cronenberg is all pissed off because
They
he
threw
had
him
just
out.
lost his apartment.
Yeah, because he lost his
But
apartment.
then this comes out and everybody loves it.
And they play it.
You're
You
welcome.
can go to Winnipeg and they play the movie.
Yeah,
And I was reading about this and I was thinking, they must have shot the movie in Winnipeg, and that
No.
there's no connection between this movie and Winnipeg.
they just liked it.
But and it's not like all of Canada liked it. No,
Just Winnipeg.
Just
no.
Winnipeg.
People in British Columbia hated it like everybody else.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
At least they didn't use Canadian tax dollars to make the movie.
Well, let me ask you this though: watching this and like this scene,
do he and Jaws from James Bond have the same dentist?
no, Jaws has much better teeth.
Okay, but watching the scene.
Watching this scene put me in a very. I feel like I'm watching The Holy Mountain.
I thought of that too.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Josh has weaponized that movie now. He works at a garage, my fiance, Hindsighters, and
That's awesome.
whenever somebody annoys him, he'll be like, "Hey, you know what's a great movie you should watch? The Holy Mountain." And then they're like, "Dude, what's wrong with you?" And he's like, "Ha ha ha, you got to suffer through the Holy Mountain." And I was like, Jason will love that. I've got to tell him. But yeah, so Winslow escapes Sing Sing.
Yeah, and he immediately goes into this. That was the other thing it reminded me of. Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
It's very
Like
Terry
Brazil.
Yeah,
Brazil.
I got a big Brazil vibe off of this.
Forget it, Jake. It's Brazil. But so yeah, Winslow breaks in trying to find Swan, and the poor guy suffers a horrendous accident at the record studio.
He gets caught in a record press.
Yes, thus becoming
And
the Phantom.
there's a
You got
story
you
behind
got the
that.
trivia. Go ahead,
Yeah.
lay it on.
I do.
Yeah,
so
this is exciting.
according to William Finley,
Well, tell them how records are made.
Oh,
What do they do? How do they
now
make?
what are records made out of?
vinyl.
Vinyl.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
I don't know how they're made though.
They're pressed.
I mean that makes sense because
Yeah.
it says record press. So okay.
Giant vertical presses.
But yeah, according to William Finley, the record press in which his character Winslow Leach was disfigured in was a real pressing plant, and the press was fitted with foam pads that kind of resembled the casting molds in the press, and there were chocks put in the center to stop it from closing completely. Unfortunately, according to IMDb, the machine was powerful enough to crush the chocks that it had gradually kept closing. It was Finley's speed and timing that saved him from being seriously hurt as he got his head out just in time. His scream in the scene was, in fact, not acting.
It might have ended like the original Fly, if you remember that.
Oh,
With David
God.
Hedison.
I
right?
thought you were going to say like that movie Rust.
Oh.
I don't know that movie.
You don't know the movie Rust? It's all over the news.
Yeah, it's all over the news.
Hey, if
Oh,
you,
is that the Alec Baldwin?
that's the Alec
thing?
Baldwin.
I didn't know the
Yeah.
title of it.
Yeah.
I just
better
knew.
way to go than to be shot by Alec Baldwin, right?
I can think of other ways I would rather go.
I'd rather die between Mel's thighs. We've discussed this.
I'd rather be shot by Harrison Ford.
Well, either way.
That'd
Either
be
way.
cool.
You will make the news and you will be famous.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my god!
If you were
guys are
shot by a
terrible.
celebrity.
And
on
Harrison
set.
Ford could just say he was so high at the time
Yeah, that's right.
that, you know,
You would blame the drugs.
He'd
And they
blame
were
the
legally
drugs.
obtained. They were shooting in California.
But,
that's true. Yeah.
Swan is gaslighting society by claiming he puts Winslow's obituary in the paper, claiming that he was shot by a security guard on his way out of the record studio, and
Right.
but he's not really
Factory.
dead. Factory, whatever. But he's not actually dead. So he fell in love with Phoenix, and she gets to be part of the show that he wrote. But so Swan is like such an evil record producer. Like he completely bails on the Juicy Fruits when he was supposed to make them famous because now Winslow.
Well, the Juicy Fruits do have a bit of a traumatic, you know, moment.
Tell us
he-
about that.
He bails on them because they get blown to bits.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah. This is
Remember
the Juicy
this-
Fruits.
The Juicy Fruits are they're preparing for the opening of the Paradise.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
He blows
Okay.
them up with the time
Takes
bomb.
an
I thought everybody
explosive.
like scattered away from that. I didn't know he actually killed
But
them.
they scattered, but they didn't leave quick enough.
Okay, I must have missed that part. I didn't realize that he
Yeah,
killed
they
all
scatter, just not all in the same direction.
So the
Yeah.
We don't have to
That's
outrun
right.
the problem. I just have to outrun you.
Can I just say though, how much I wish that there was actually a place like the Paradise I
Oh.
could go to. I
Why?
would be there every fucking weekend.
tell me how much fun. I
Oh
mean,
my god, yeah.
you know, it's
Would the show matter? It's really
No.
more about the vibe.
It's I mean, look, that's the thing. The modern 2021 I'm going to go on my rant for a second.
Welcome to Jason's TED Talk.
Here we go.
Okay, no,
Look
this is the old. You know what really grinds my gears? The state of modern music is so bad
Mm.
that I would go to a club and listen to kind of just generic-y 1974 music,
Mm-hmm.
and it would be great. You couldn't drag me to anything with name a band.
Yeah, I mean, I
I have to note this is very, very De Palma.
yeah.
The split screen.
And one edit.
it was
Yeah.
so
Or
disorienting.
there's
to
no
me.
cuts.
But if
Yeah.
you notice that it's it's the same angle. This one is just being shot from the front, and then this is from behind, but it's just happening at the exact same time. So you can see he dropped the bomb into the trunk of the prop car,
Mm-hmm.
and the Juicy Fruits. One guy had a bad vibe. He's just like, I don't think I should get in this car. And then remember the
Yeah, Phil-
bodyguard says, quit your whining, get in
And
that car.
Shoves a bunch of drugs down his throat.
Right here, take these pills, they'll relax you. And then, moments later, they have to look for a new act.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I didn't realize they died. I'm not sure how I missed that fact, but yeah, he does plant the bomb there, and the women are, definitely.
Scantily dressed.
And like
And,
he's
and you
They are acting very hard right now.
Right.
Thank you very
they're
much.
acting their hearts out.
But
Yeah.
you brought up the term that this is the word can, right? It's meaningless to other people. When I look at these scenes, I think something similar. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but it's plural.
Anyway.
Yeah. Fanny.
Well, speaking of that, the bird bikinis that the ladies wear toward the end,
I love those.
they hated
He's doing
them.
the Riker stand.
Oh, I must.
He had
have
his leg up.
Oh,
like,
yeah?
Like Riker. Sorry.
But the bird bikinis that the ladies have
Wait,
to wear at the end.
sorry. Imagine this guy freestyling right now.
My name is Steven, and I'm here to say.
See, you can't stop.
That's true.
Eminem.
Oh,
Okay, in the
God.
remake, we'll get Allison Brie. Eminem will play this guy.
Oh, man.
Perfect.
That's going to be high budget. Here, you just put the drugs down his throat. There's all the girls are on the car,
Yeah.
and there's a high explosive, probably plastique or some kind of C4 explosive in there.
Oh,
And
you
the-
know you get high if you eat C4.
I've
Don't
heard
joke
that.
about that.
Yeah.
you alluded to it. On
I
the
know,
episode.
I know, I know. I'm surprised that they weren't like red sticks with TNT written in yellow.
Yeah,
That
it's
would have been
very
great.
Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, it has a big Acme tag
Yeah,
on it.
I did get an Acme vibe, which is
Yeah.
funny because I brought up David Carradine. That movie, Death Race 2000, also gave me an Acme vibe, but it was more like the Wacky Racers, whereas it's
Yes.
so Wile E. Coyote
Yeah.
because he's blowing people up but he's actually successful at it. But see, yeah, I saw everybody running away, so I didn't realize that the singers died. I missed that somehow. But yeah, so the bikinis that the ladies are wearing.
Wait a minute.
I'm never gonna be able to tell this story.
Something about bikinis. I know what bikinis look like. No, but I just realized if you sign your soul over, you can't die.
Well, you can.
If
What
does
I
it,
don't
the person
understand is
sorry.
No, like I'm going with you on that. Like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because the reason why Swan is immortal is because he sold his soul, and so Winslow also sells his soul to Swan in turn. But
Yes.
the whole term with Swan is that he's got to watch the tape every single day, but the Phantom doesn't have to do anything.
No, he
To
doesn't.
gain his, you're just immortal if you sell your soul because he tries to kill himself when Swan steals his woman, and Swan reveals, it's a big twist. He's like, "Oh yeah, we can't die. That wound will open if my contract is ever."
If I die, if I'm destroyed.
Or yeah, if I'm destroyed.
If I'm destroyed, you'll die.
And what kills him is if his tape gets destroyed.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So if the Juicy Fruits have signed a contract, then they aren't dead.
Well, I don't know that they signed a contract in blood. They probably did, given the fact that that's what he seems to do with everybody.
Yeah, because he
gets,
does that with what's her name?
Phoenix. Yeah.
Phoenix, yeah.
She also signs her soul over to him,
They
but
had an aunt named Phoenix.
but she doesn't die when he dies. So the rules don't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think actually we've concluded that
Because she's
this
not
movie
injured.
doesn't.
Because he died because he had a knife wound in him that wasn't going to kill him until he became mortal. Phoenix wasn't injured. She wasn't hurt,
See?
so she got to live. It has nothing to do with the fact that Swan died. It's the fact that Phantom tried to kill himself when he was immortal, and then the wound opened and he died.
De Palma would not have let a gap in the script that large. So you good. You close the gap. Very good.
Ding! Take your LSD now.
But
That's
tell me,
what we
tell
should
me
do
how
with
much
our
fun it would have been
promo.
to shoot this film.
Oh my
It's
God, are you
just
kidding
so
me?
much fun.
Well, first of all, the music is genuinely tolerable and at moments bordering on good.
But who was it written and performed
Well,
by?
it was Paul Williams.
Paul Williams, right.
And it was sort of like good Paul Williams, but not great.
right.
But he did get nominated for an Academy Award.
He did, and there's a fantastic story behind that too, because he has a quote saying that, he did things in his 30s that people ignored around the world, and he specifically mentions Phantom of the Paradise, saying, okay, yeah, you can consider that a failure if you want, but years and years ago, he's in Mexico, and a 16-year-old boy comes to him at a concert with an album trying to get him to sign it. And he's like, I don't really remember this interaction that well. The kid was like 14, 16. I don't really know. But I know who the guy is now because I'm writing a musical based on Pan's Labyrinth. It's Guillermo del Toro.
Whoa.
That makes complete sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, the costumes that Daft Punk wear are based on the Phantom.
They've apparently seen the movie over 20 times. They're
Yeah.
huge fans.
I think
They
that's the most anyone's ever seen the movie.
probably.
On that note, we're coming up on our first break, so
Already?
we will be back in about 1 second. And we're back.
We have returneth.
We are back.
So I have a story about the bikinis, the birds.
Bite me, Jason!
No, don't save that one for the lady. The lady can give
Here,
better
tell the story
context.
while I watch Allison Brie.
Allison, we love you. Come on the show. But yeah, later in the movie, Swan is so nefarious that he steals Phoenix away from Winslow, or the Phantom at this point.
The cad.
Yes, he's such a scoundrel. But anyway, they Swan and Phoenix are going to get married on, is it live TV?
Live TV, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And they have a big ceremony with women dancing around them in bikinis that are bird themed, and they're all crows. And the women who apparently,
You just had to do that back then.
Black crows.
I want black crows at my wedding. That's gonna
No,
happen.
the women in bikinis dancing. It was the 70s.
Oh, okay.
My brother's first communion.
Bikinis.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you would need doves for that.
That's true.
But so the women in those bird bikinis hated them because the bottoms and the tops were clad with feathers, but that made the bottoms look like pubic hair.
I
So
mean, big bushes. Big bushes.
with
in fact,
no trimming in sight.
As I was telling the gang, when I squinted my eyes, I thought I was watching 70s porn, with the big bushes.
And how often
There's
do you
there's
watch
a
70s porn?
there's a joke
I
here.
never do. I was just making a joke. I don't ever watch porn. Wink.
There's a joke
I
here,
never have.
and it involves keeping money in your pocket and something about one in the hand and two in the bush. I'll
A
think
bird
of
in
it.
the hand is worth two in the bush.
Yeah, I'll tweet it when I get the joke.
Yeah, it'll come to.
Don't try the crab dip. Yeah.
But the
What were you
styles,
expecting, lobster?
the styles in the scene, they're auditioning for, for the performance because the one band got blown up by the Phantom, so they're auditioning new band members, and that's where Phoenix really knocks everybody dead. She's a goddess when it comes to singing.
She's like Judy Garland.
But look at all their hairstyles; they're all relatively straight.
Yep.
And then went to the 80s where it just suddenly they
the
found
huge hair.
Aquanet.
God,
Yeah.
seriously.
Crazy.
I'm glad I wasn't old enough to style my hair in the 80s.
I think that's one reason why I like 70s horror movies, like bad 70s horror movies,
Right.
more than bad 80s horror movies, is because at least the pretty girls in the 70s horror movies tend to be actually pretty hot.
Phoenix kind of looks like Linda Cardellini a little bit too.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see
And
that.
given your
for sure.
affinity for
I-
Velma.
I love Linda
Yeah.
Cardellini.
Freaks and geeks.
She reminded me a lot though of the singer.
Oh, that lady.
We were talking about it before the show.
The singer.
Linda Ronstadt.
Linda Ronstadt.
Oh, okay.
Thank
yeah.
you. Yeah,
Well,
she's
because
very
Linda Ronstadt lost out on this role to Jessica Harper.
Yeah.
And so did Sissy Spacek. And Sissy Spacek was actually dating one of the crew members, and she was assisting him on set that day, and apparently did such a bad job that they lost a day of filming.
Oh,
Yeah, I
But-
mean that's amazing for a set decorator to screw up so bad you lose a day
Badly.
of filming.
Yeah, that would be bad.
she still
But-
did pretty well.
By the way, if you watch this movie, the scenes where the Phantom / Winslow is working on his cantata, he's surrounded by this huge sort of spheroid wall of
And it's real.
synthesizer bits,
Musical
and that's
equipment, yeah.
and it's actually a real synthesizer,
Mm-hmm.
and it still works. It's still in operation today. It's called Tonto.
Mm-hmm. Sure is.
Yeah.
But going back to Sissy Spacek for a quick second, that's some more crisscross that you love, Jason, because the lady who plays Miss Collins in Carrie, Betty Buckley,
Yeah.
she auditioned for the role of Phoenix too, and ended up working somewhat on this project doing
She-
some voice work.
Yeah, she does some of the backing vocals.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, Betty Buckley, she's a famous
Yeah.
Broadway star, isn't she? That name rings a bell.
But she was rejected for the role.
Wow.
So, and
I mean, she's no Terrence Mann,
God, those teeth.
So
Ugh. Oh, and the joke here is Swan helps Winslow to recover his voice, even though his horrible accident mangled his vocal cords or something. Who knows why?
Yeah. Somehow the thing managed to crush his vocal cords without crushing his brain.
Yeah, it crushed, sort of scar one side of his face to the point where his right eye is useless. So he is very bird-like in how he has to tilt his head to look at you. And
Phoenix person.
really, Phoenix person. See, Swan, taking people's souls, this is what is known in bird culture as a dick move.
I have to say that Swan and maybe just Paul Williams in general at this phase of his hair style.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen Planet of the Apes, just put a little monkey face on him and he looks like Dr. Zaius.
Oh my God! I would not have thought
He
of
was
that.
in Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
He
Was he?
he was?
He was.
I'll
yes.
be damned.
He was not
There you-
Zaius.
I was
but
about to
yeah.
say.
no.
Dr.
Okay.
Zaius, Dr. Zaius.
Well, the joke here when he helps the Phantom recover his voice is that when you hear that voice, it's actually Paul Williams. So it was
Yes.
a little inside joke where he goes,
Yes.
"Oh, it's perfect," because
Of
he's talking
course.
about himself technically.
Yeah.
He did synthesize, the Phantom's voice into his own voice.
And auto-tune is born.
yes.
Yes.
God.
Hey, are you saying that the music industry is fake?
Maybe. Which, so I don't
It has
understand
been,
that. You
yeah.
brought this up earlier on the show, Jason, where Paul Williams didn't want to play the Phantom because he didn't want to offend the record industry, or the music industry. But Swan is such a terrible character.
Swan is so much
it's
worse.
It's a worse representation in my head. So
I actually think the true version of that story is he didn't want to play the Phantom because he wanted to represent the music industry.
Huh.
You know, because I mean that's the point of the movie.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it is. It's it's an awful industry.
It is.
You know?
That's why we started our own.
Yeah. Yeah.
For real, hindsighters.
Wah, wah.
It really is.
But the taglines to this itself, like the movie has brilliant taglines. So like there's the music made him do it.
That's a good one. I like that one.
He's been maimed and framed, beaten, robbed, and mutilated, but they still can't keep him from the woman he loves.
Yeah, okay, so that actually dovetails with the point I wanted to make.
Make it.
Because that was made by the marketing people came up with the taglines for the ads, things like that. Well, before I saw this movie, I watched the trailer. The original trailer for the movie.
He sold his soul for rock and roll.
That's not it. No, it makes it look like a terrible knockoff of Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
The trailer makes it look like a goofball kind of comedy, and it's very clear they didn't know how to market the movie. And they said, well, we'll market it as this kind of movie because those kinds of movies do make money.
Right.
But then people inevitably went and saw it and said, well, that's not what I was expecting. Therefore, I don't like it, and left. You know,
Oh,
Unless they lived in Winnipeg.
Unless they were in Winnipeg.
Or Paris.
Or Paris.
Because
Yeah.
it was popular in both cities.
See, I do this. When I light a match to light a candle, I always hold the match up to my eye.
You look very
Just to
close.
stare at it, yeah.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Always do that.
Combustion.
Well, you've got to have that, poetic moment. Light it slowly; it'll be more dramatic.
Yeah.
It's like it's ridiculous.
Well, this is what
Disney-
I usually do this on a Friday night, just without the composing.
Yeah,
I don't do any of the composing. I do other
sit and
things.
stare at a candle.
Yeah, in the costume.
Oh my!
But De Palma, if we didn't mention this before, was William Finley's buddy. They went to Columbia University together in New York City, and he wrote this film for William Finley.
Yep, he was the only one considered for that. That was his first choice for the Phantom. He really wanted William Finley for sure.
And William Finley really, he didn't. I looked up his credits, and he has done stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's interesting. He never really popped. He never I didn't find something where it was like, oh, this was a huge movie, and he was in it in a prominent role.
The conventional Hollywood type, though, he's incredibly unique looking. So he'd almost have to be the centerpiece or a villain of some sort if he was going to be in a movie. But there was a lot of flip-flopping between who was supposed to play the roles because we're about to meet Beef. Basically, Darby, if he was in Rocky Horror.
Darby, yeah.
He would take that as a compliment.
That was not rehearsed.
No.
He would take that as a compliment.
Oh,
Darby.
he would love to play that, right?
Oh,
he would
he
do
would
it
kill
well.
it, yeah.
He would do it very well.
But apparently, who was supposed to play Beef?
That's a nice toilet.
Well, this is where the Who and the Rolling Stones in this scene would have appeared. He was auditioning other people.
They were supposed to be in the movie, but they priced
the
themselves out of the
budget could
running.
afford it, yes.
Yep. And there's Hyde from that 70s show. But no, guess who was originally supposed Yeah, it looks just like him.
Even the same expression.
Deadpan with, aviators. Yeah. But Peter Boyle was originally supposed to be Beef. That would have been a very different
It'd be
movie, I
interesting.
feel.
I could see that.
I could see it
I could
for
see
sure.
it.
But it would be a very different feeling.
Yeah,
movie.
it would not have been as
He'd be Young Frankenstein. You ever see Young Frankenstein? You must. That's,
my God.
That's Peter Boyle
What?
as Beef. A
What?
different Beef, though.
Put it on the red.
Put it on the wrist. Oh, I love that scene. Oh, and I appreciate it more and more the older I get.
Oh yeah, totally.
When I was a
It
kid, I
ages
didn't
well.
quite get it, but it does age very well.
Yeah, Beef. Beef is the person selected by Swan
Yeah.
to be the front man
For the cantata.
for the Faustian cantata, which I got to admit is pretty good, and especially that opening number.
Oh my! See, it was so interactive. That's what I love the most about it.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Beef is something of a stereotype. that probably wouldn't go over very well
Mr. Brown actually
nowadays.
brought up a derogatory term earlier in our episode.
Yes,
And that's
yeah,
the stereotype we're talking about.
Yeah, so he's an interesting character because I can't quite get a dial on him.
Get a beef on him?
Yeah, I can't get a beef.
But he even has a lisp.
Dude, did you beef?
He does. He has.
And he is going to abandon the show because the Phantom has been promised all this time. And I feel like there's a bit of Charlie Brown with Lucy and the football going on between him and Swan, because Swan keeps promising him all of these grand things and, says, hey, you're going to be famous. And yeah, Phoenix is going to be the star of the show, because that's Phantom's obsession. He wants Phoenix and only Phoenix to
muse.
sing.
Yes, it has to be her.
It
She's
has to be
his
her.
Christine.
Yes.
And if anyone else sings it, they'll die if they try.
I think this is the first movie where a sort of supervillain, maybe he's kind of a supervillain. He's got a costume. He does some
He
stuff
had a big
that's totally
tragic
implausible.
accident. Yeah.
I think
No,
this
we're
is
talking Swan.
the Phantom.
Oh,
The
the
Phantom.
super villain?
Yeah. Well,
Because the costume
He's
is
a
like the over the
deformed,
top.
nice guy who's got a bit of a temper.
he comes across as a complete idiot.
Right.
And I think this is
More naive, I would say.
okay. Well, I mean,
This is
I was just going to say this is the first movie I can think of where the bad guy was a villain and was a complete idiot.
Yeah.
Like, that's his thing. Is Swan is not like really good at selling things.
No, he even says ink means nothing to me and like pokes people's fingers to get them to sign in blood. That's not normal.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on, man.
But the thing is, though, if you want to work in Hollywood or if you want to work in the music industry, I mean, it's weird how many people.
bodily fluids of some kind are getting exchanged.
Well,
Ugh,
I mean,
definitely.
you hear people give interviews where they talk about selling their souls to the devil, and they almost seem to mean it.
Yeah.
You know? I
See,
don't know.
look at the dead bird sign. You see how it's moving?
Yeah.
Now, why don't you tell everyone
Yes.
why did they have to optically?
They had to optically cover it because, as we mentioned before, the main character is Swan. So his company was originally Swan Song, who is also the production company from Led Zeppelin.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't Google it back then.
Who are kind of a big deal.
They were a very big deal at that time.
I mean, I've heard of them.
yeah, yes.
I know a few of their songs.
So
I
in
think.
post-production, they had to remove all of the Swan Song references with whatever the dead bird thing is.
Even though, and they, I think, knew this at the time, that they were totally fine to use Swan Song because Swan Song wasn't something that Led Zeppelin's people came up with. It's,
Right.
Yeah, it's a
it
general
had been
term.
around forever. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's my Swan Song.
Well, it's sort of like all the arguments
me
with
fly.
Apple and the Beatles, because the Beatles and Apple went head to head over because the Beatles publishing company, Apple,
Right.
and the agreement was that Apple, Cupertino, California Apple could keep it and use it. They just can't get into the music business. And then, lo and behold, years later, they get into the music. Because at the time, they're like, well, we're not getting into the music business.
Yeah. Who gives stock for a Christmas
Yeah.
gift?
So
My
it's
God.
sort of the same thing where they're going, okay, we don't know how a court's going to decide this. Let's just get rid of every reference to Swan Song that's
Right.
in the movie. Unfortunately, that included signs.
Right.
Things that were- So they had to optically replace Swan Song with the dead bird logo from Death Records?
I think it's Death
yeah.
Records.
Death
That's
Records,
right. Yeah, it's a dead crow. I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I got to tell you, I learned something new every moment. You were talking Cupertino.
Yeah.
When I get my iPhone, it's like, why do they have time zone for Cupertino? I never knew
Yeah.
that. It's always in every iPhone. That's the ones. It's because that's where their corporate headquarters was. I did not know that.
There you go.
Until now.
There you go.
Thank
In
you,
breaking news,
Yes.
actually in breaking news, this is urgent.
Uh-oh.
I get a call from my brother today, and he said, I've got news for you I've got to share with you. And immediately I'm thinking, somebody's dead.
Someone's
Yeah,
dead,
someone's
yeah.
going on.
Right.
And it's about your dad.
Oh, God.
It's about Dad. I said, what?
I was about to say your dad.
He got an iPhone.
Oh.
Now, you have to understand, my dad is the most Luddite of Luddites. He for years it was like a badge of honor that he had a flip phone.
Yeah, see, my dad was the same way. He didn't have a cell phone and wouldn't have if his work didn't issue one to him. He finally broke down once my niece was born, so that if he was alone with or somewhere he could reach us if something happened, like if his car stalled or whatever. But when he first got his cell phone, he was like, I do not text. I will not learn how to text. If you want to talk to me, you call me on the phone. And
5 minutes
How
later.
long did that last?
several years, actually.
Wow.
He finally broke when he
that's-
was on the set of Meet the Browns. And I think I've told you guys this story where he was blowing my phone up all day because he knew I was at work and he couldn't call me. And he
Right.
couldn't call on the set either. So he's texting and he's like, oh my God, I met Jacqueline Bisset. And I was like, in a Tyler Perry movie, Dad? I don't think so. He goes, well, what's that little lady from Stella Got Her Groove Back? I was like, you met Angela Bassett, Dad? And he was just like, oh, she's the sweetest little lady. You could fit her in your pocket. She's so tiny.
Imagine
She's
if she
really
had said,
nice."
I met Jack Hay today. Hey.
How. But, yeah.
Aaron.
He finally broke when he was on his first movie set because he's like, they really do come out and do your makeup and stuff. And he just had to point it out to me. He's like, Jade, I became a paid actor before you. And I was like, wow. I was
But
like,
he's
"That's
got a
kinda
couple
cute."
years on you, though.
He does. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's the part where Swan just keeps betraying Phantom over and over. And
So
utterly
obviously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, he keeps Phantom in the record booth, and he's like cask of Amontillado-ing his ass. He's trying to cement him into the record booth. I guess he just plans to never use it ever again. Why doesn't he just kill him?
Yeah,
and bury him?
that's a big outline.
It was.
Well, he can't kill him.
That's
he
right.
can't
He's
kill
immortal
him
right now.
Yeah.
That's true. Okay, but cement him in
A room that
A
has
room.
less valuable assets.
Yeah,
you know.
you're giving away like
and there
millions
wasn't
of
even a
dollars.
bathroom in there.
No.
Come on.
Well, you imagine Swan like leaving and going,
That is so Acme. It hurts.
Yeah.
He opens the door and there's a
Yes.
brick wall behind
Yeah.
him,
And
and he can't get out.
you know, Swan, runs out and they brick it up. He's like, my keys are in there. This was the
damn it! I
stupidest
left my
thing.
iPhone in there.
Well, and apparently he didn't take into account that selling your soul to the devil gives you super strength.
He broke right through that wall like it wasn't
Either
even
that or
there.
maybe the mortar was bad. You know, you got to be careful when you mortar up a wall like that.
You got to make sure that the chinking is laid properly.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
But you know
No,
who
you-
installed it?
Ooh.
Kyle.
Oh, Kyle. So no, don't
God,
get Kyle.
We
No,
keep
Kyle's
telling
no
you guys.
good. No.
We don't like to talk.
No.
Tell us
So
out
we're
of school.
suddenly from Winnipeg.
No,
is
you
what
got to
you're
call
saying.
Gary. Gary does a good wall. He did a wall at my dad's house.
Gary, and he gives you a good warranty.
Oh yeah, my
He's a
dad.
good, honest
My
guy.
dad had a Phantom too. You know, he walled him up in there. Sucker's still there. Oh, yeah.
Because of Gary, you know it.
Beats on the walls and begs us to kill him every day. It's the funniest thing.
How true. Yeah, and your dad texts him.
That was the Midwestern brick sketch.
But yeah, so the Phantom is not only betrayed by being bricked into the recording booth, but he comes to find that Swan lied about Phoenix being the star of his cantata and that it's going to be Beef.
Beef.
When Beef puts his shower cap on, he looks like Joe Flaherty.
Oh, check it out. Beef is behind the shower curtains.
Okay. Technically a joke.
But I thought this scene was well shot. The way they panned right.
Oh, the whole
across
movie's
into
well
the shower.
shot.
And then he takes the soap and flips it behind his back, and he catches it. It's
Don't drop the soap, Beef.
Yeah.
No, the movie is well shot from beginning to end.
Agreed.
I
The
think.
camera work
The
is
cinematography
phenomenal,
is really
yeah.
good. The lighting's really good.
Editing.
Yeah, I mean,
Costuming.
yeah. From a technical perspective,
His tattoo on his face changed.
well, it's not a tattoo, is it?
No, it's he put makeup on because
okay.
he's playing
'Cause it
like
goes from like a-
Frankenstein.
Like a shamrock to a boy-girl symbol.
Yeah.
To
Oh, okay. Because I thought it was like a hobgoblin.
But it does. But it does
situation
actually
for a second.
change between shots, though. So it is a continuity error.
Yeah. God, I'd be so terrified if a one-eyed Birdman broke into my shower and then, tried to smother me with a plunger.
If I had a nickel,
For how many
That's like
times?
a Thursday
Oh,
for
my
Jason.
God.
God. But so
Tijuana.
the Phantom breaks into the shower and scares Beef away and tells him that he'll die if he tries to sing the cantata, that it's meant for Phoenix and
Phoenix.
only Phoenix. And because she's the love of his life and she's a beautiful
For some
singer.
reason.
Yeah, it's
So,
like
yeah.
they met each other. It's kind of like the whole Anakin and Padme thing. They didn't really have a solid foundation to
It's
build
unre-
a love story on. They meet for 5 seconds. He's really just falling in love with her voice and her sound, but he
and her looks.
These bad guys are a little
Okay.
bit like Tina.
Oh,
You know,
another Bob's
they're all
Burgers reference.
girl crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I just met this girl named Phoenix, and my life's about to change.
oh, he was all over you. But yeah, so Beef is trying to run away. And,
In his
this is the
Santa
first time
Claus
he's-
costume.
Yeah, this is the first time he's ever been upset that there was another man in his shower.
No.
What?
poking him with something.
You guys
Roughly.
are incorrigible.
In the mouth, too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm leaving. Hold on. How do I get this thing?
He's
on?
immune to COVID after that.
And it's impressive because the dude was standing up.
No power of tower
Whoa.
necessary. Or tower of power.
Oh my
She's in
God.
power of
Darby,
tower.
save us from these people. Save me from these people.
The power of tower.
That's going to be the name of my club. I'm going to have my own, what do they call it? A rock
Rock
palace. And it's going to be called the Power of Tower.
I will sing the cantata for you, Jason.
And I'm going to change my name to Tower.
Tower of Power.
Instead of Swan, it'll be Tower.
I had to look that up, by the way. You indirectly.
Please don't
taught me
tell
that
the
term.
fans what a
No,
Tower
not,
of Power is.
Absolutely not. Look
Wait.
it up if you're curious. But
I taught you that?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So, see, I just don't watch porn, so maybe I'm missing out on an education here. But so
They've come a long way.
that's
They
what
really have.
I've heard.
They
Stories.
actually have video game cosplay porn now. And it's like very,
What?
it's like oddly specific to the video game.
You guys are hella specific.
Wow.
Like if you play the game BioShock, there's actually
That just
BioShock.
sounds disgusting.
Oh, BioShock's an awesome game. But there's a really hot.
But it's not a porn.
No.
Because
As
if
far
it was a porn, think about the implications behind. Anyway, go ahead,
So
do
here,
that.
this is the paradise. This is the big shoe, the really big shoe.
Yes.
And what
Ladies
I
and gentlemen,
love
Elvis
is
Presley.
they have all of these guitarists,
Mr. Conway Twitty.
and I believe some of the guitarists have big knives on.
Yeah,
ends.
it's
And they pull audience members out and slice them up. Of course, they're not real audience members, and the audience goes crazy.
Yeah.
And then they put them all together. They sew up the audience members into.
into
A
beef.
Frankenstein's
And I'm
bee
telling
monster,
you,
yeah.
this opening sequence is. I would love to be in the front row.
with
Oh.
off-brand kiss.
Well,
Singing at
yeah,
you.
okay. They did occasionally get a little too kiss with the makeup,
The
His
makeup
Grand
is
Slam was
kissy.
supposed to be
Yeah.
a sausage.
and rock and roll. Go in the
Nobody
car.
wants to be Peter Criss. Lois, not even Peter Criss. But yeah,
No.
you've got off-brand Kiss with their crazy ass axes.
Yeah, and it's a little Alice Cooper-y,
Yeah.
a little,
Listen to the Cooper woman.
but yeah, the vibe that I got from this scene was sort of a Pink Floyd's The Wall,
Okay.
a little bit.
I'll go with you on that one.
Although this is obviously less incredibly self-indulgent.
Yeah.
This is meant to be kind of funny,
Yeah.
which I think is what actually makes the movie work, is that it's very obvious that this is a movie that really understands what it is, and it's not trying to be anything more than that.
No.
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 It's not trying to be a cult thing. It's not trying to be, super sentimental and deep. It's really just kind of a fun music movie that's got a little bit of reference to
It's just really funny.
Faust.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
Fan.
how many films did De Palma make before this?
I don't know.
Did he have a reputation?
I don't think he did.
Let's find out.
Because I think what the budget was 1.2 million.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
I saw that. So it's relatively low budget. Well, I guess back then it was higher. Than,
Well, it was high enough that it didn't make it.
yeah.
Yeah. Which the special effects are so.
They're pretty bad. And
But
and
that's
the
okay, because it's like you're at a concert. That's how good the special effects would be at a concert.
Right.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's hard to hide when you're right up close to the performers.
Right,
You can't
yeah.
really hide the special effects from
I'm
them.
telling you, I would pay real money to go to this show,
It would be a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be an excellent show.
especially if Beef gets electrocuted.
Well, and the beauty of it is they're killing. There's faux killing
Mhm.
people, right? So when Beef really gets killed, the crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
They think it's all a part of the show.
Yeah.
And even as they're taking him out to the ambulance with his face covered, they're Beef.
Yeah.
Beef.
And
Beef.
you
They
can
love it.
And
They
you
want
can
him back.
imagine an audience actually doing
Oh,
that and
absolutely.
thinking, well, this is all part of the show.
Yeah, of
They've been
course.
killing people the whole time.
Faces
know?
of Death style. Yeah, he had a lot of. He had several movies before this. He did some shorts. There was a documentary called The Responsive Eye, Murder a la Mode, Greetings, To Bridge This Gap, The Wedding Party. Yeah, so he had a ton of stuff before he did Phantom.
But
of
if
the
you're ever
Paradise.
young and you're in film school, cozy up to a director that you think's going to make it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we did.
That was
Suckers.
That was De Niro's plan, and it worked.
Why, yes.
Well,
William
yeah.
Finley, not so much.
No.
Poor guy. No, but he
Missed
was
it by this much.
Yeah. But yeah, he wasn't a typical
we went the
leading
William
man.
Finley route.
Yeah, I will.
Sorry, guys.
We're late in life bloomers here.
Just speak for yourself.
But William, yeah, that's true.
I'm
guess.
not late in life.
I guess you're just starting out. I know. I'm at the conclusion.
Oh my God.
Oh, don't talk like that.
No, but I remember when I'd been in the Navy for years and I got out, and
You were in the
about,
Navy?
I was about your age when
It's funny he never mentions it.
when I was with a gang of actors and I said, "Oh, I'm a late in life actor," and this one 55-year-old guy is just like, "You're not late in life. You still got a long way to go."
Yeah.
Little did I know, he was right.
Yeah.
And look at that, I'm still going like the Energizer Bunny.
That's true. And, a couple of years after that, you found these two weirdos,
That's
and
right.
the rest is history.
Yes.
Okay, I have to ask a question about Beef's costume in the cantata.
Does he have a codpiece? I don't know.
I don't know. That's not what
Good
my
for
question was.
him.
Are those holes in his shorts, or are there like stars or something, like patches? Because he's got one right on his wedding tackle.
I think it's a patch.
Okay, because he's just like madly gyrating and thrusting at the audience, and I'm just like, oh God. But yeah, so this is
That's
where
a star. Yeah, it's just a little patch on his penis.
Okay. I just love that it's so strategically placed, as if it's going to distract from this costume that he's
Yes.
got on. My God, he's got glitter in his hair and this. That face. Winslow's up in the.
This is terrible.
He's perching up in the ceiling, getting ready to kill Beef, and he's just sitting there with his mouth open like an eel, like. Yeah, it's so crazy.
Well, the metal teeth, that was just, he has to show them as much as possible because when he was in prison, they just yanked out all his teeth and put in metal teeth.
Yeah.
And the excuse for that was that it was for sanitation purposes, and yet the warden still has his teeth.
I thought they were going to use them for something.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a point to that. It was really just a point of torture for everybody.
Real quick, Darth, what year were you born?
88.
Okay.
Are you finding out what movie was?
Oh,
Number
Rain
one.
Man.
That makes so much sense.
Okay, there's your personality.
It's appropriate.
How many matches?
Well, yeah. I don't know, Lana.
100? Tina, there are 4. 100? Don't play this game. You're the worst kind of autistic. But yeah, so what about, well, I don't think Mr. Brown wants us to reveal his birthday.
No,
or
that's
his
all right.
birth year.
Here, I'll find the chart.
Mine was, I think Star Wars was the one the Academy
Yeah,
Award.
my ass.
I was born.
Why don't you go write a paper check for $1.15?
It will take me a little while because this chart doesn't go back far enough. And I'm being serious.
Western mathematical principles cannot accommodate such a task.
It's because the chart only has colored films, not black and white.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it's exclusively talkies.
My day, we'd go to the picture show. But yeah, so the Phantom murders Beef by electrocuting him with one of the
a neon lightning bolt.
Yes.
That was used as a part of the Frankenstein resurrection. The lightning strikes the.
Mm-hmm.
See, and that's what
Ernie.
It brought him life and it brought him death.
That's one of the
That's
reasons
true.
why the trailer was so bad, because in the trailer there's a quick cut of him with the lightning bolt and just throwing it.
Yeah.
And it looks like, oh God, is that supposed to be like a terrible special effect for a lightning bolt?
I know.
And then when you actually watch the movie, it's, oh no.
It makes sense,
It's set up and then, okay, yeah, that works.
Yeah. And so of course now everything is set into place where Phoenix has to save the show, and it kind of reminded me.
Is that where we landed?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Phantom strangles the spotlight guy.
Yes.
Takes
and
over the spot.
make sure that she is shining in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this
By the
one-
way, I think my method is broken with the movie Zodiac thing, because it says here his is something called the jazz singer.
Oh Lord.
Poor Mr. Brown.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah. Said something with Charlie Chaplin. in it.
here. I will let you guys. Yeah, here. You can look and choose to reveal the movie.
You're going back to the 40s. I remember the 40s.
Well, I went past the
That
20s.
was a great decade.
Yeah, you auditioned for It's a Wonderful Life in that decade, didn't you?
Yes. Top film was Pinocchio. That's the year I was born.
Okay,
Mhm.
so
Just after Sergeant York. All right.
But yeah,
I think
so,
I'd rather be Pinocchio than Sergeant York. Pinocchio had more fun.
He did.
He went to that weird island with prostitutes and stuff.
The Lost Boys
the
and
Lost-
hookers.
Yeah.
No, The Lost Boys is Peter Pan.
No, it was. It's something.
They were
It's,
bad- they were
yeah,
bad
it's
boys.
close to that though.
But didn't they were turning into animals or something?
Yeah, they
like
turned
that?
into like
Yeah.
donkeys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. We digress.
Yeah, so Phoenix has to save the show with a ballad of all things. And
Oh,
it's-
Pleasure Island. That's where they went.
Pleasure Island.
Yeah.
Yes.
is that
You
like,
you went
is
there
that
in the
like-
Navy, didn't you?
is that like
did.
Whore Island for
I
women?
did.
Yeah.
Kidding, honey. I never went to Pleasure Island. Treasure Island is where I went. Treasure
It's near
Island.
Phuket.
Oh god.
Whole place runs on beads.
Bees?
Benoit.
Balls.
Your mom found a whole new way to use them, boy. But
Did you watch Regis? Sorry. We're just
we fell down the
yeah.
Archer rabbit hole this time.
actually. We do need to pause though. Unless do you have some?
I just have to close with there is a guy in my office whose last name is spelled Benoit. And I was
No.
pronouncing
Benoit.
it Benoit. And so one of my friends said, no, it's not. It's Benoit. And I'm like, balls. I couldn't help myself.
You have to do that.
How could you live with a name like that?
Benoit.
No, that's like I saw a news article once. There was some guy in England, and his last name was Whore. And I just thought, how you've
Yeah,
gone how many generations, and no one has decided that's it. I'm not putting my kids through this.
No.
Seriously.
I, sir, am a whore like my father before me.
And you shall be a whore too,
Yes.
son.
I was a French maid for a period of time. I was treated well in my day.
A good time to break it.
Oh no,
Okay.
I think our soundboard's running out of carburetor or something. So, Hindsighters, we're going to take a quick break. We will be back in 1 second.
And we're back.
We are back.
For those of you watching along at home,
We're sorry.
We're sorry. We're sorry.
we've skipped a bit, so now you're
Yes.
out of sync.
Yes.
This was a terrible idea.
Yes.
Shouldn't have done it. We are.
They don't
in,
know. They've got their LSD kicked in
Yeah.
half
Right.
an hour ago.
Right. They're looking at their hands right now.
So
The drugs are going to take hold.
he just all I see is Planet of the Apes. Maybe that's why I think that. Maybe it's because I've seen Battle for the Planet of
was
the
in
Apes,
Battle.
and maybe it could, but he looks such. Yeah. Anyway,
He does
He-
look like Zayas.
He does. So what's happened, Hindsighters, is that Phoenix does save the cantata. She sings a lovely ballad, and people go crazy for her. She's an overnight success, and of course, Swan is
got a
sitting
little
there
mustache.
saying that. And this is
This is
didn't-
horribly cruel, I think.
It is, and it wasn't consistent. So the whole thing in the beginning, when the audition process is happening, Phoenix has her morals, and she's not going to be sexually exploited, and so she runs out of the audition crying. And then, as soon as she gets a taste of fame, she's all over Swan. Like, and it's even kind of her suggestion that they get involved, because he's leaning over her in her dressing room, and he's like, "I'm going to make you famous," and she goes, "Oh, you can have anything you want." And he's like, "I want your voice." So it's very Little Mermaid. But then she's like, "Oh, is that all?" And he's like, "You know what? Actually, no."
Now that you mention it,
she sort of entices
Yeah.
him. And of course, is he really gonna say
crazy
no?
idea. What if we have sex?
Yeah.
Huh? We have sex. I give you a record contract.
Madam, we are purely professional. What is wrong with you? But yeah.
Well, but before she was trying to sleep with someone to be a backup singer. But
no,
hey,
she wasn't. She ran away from the audition because of that. She wouldn't sleep
Yeah,
with him
that's
in the
true.
No,
beginning.
but it was just for the role of a backup singer.
Oh, you're saying the
She
different.
tasted of the fame.
Yeah, that's true, because what she.
Suddenly, juices flow. You know, you were on stage with me.
Oh dear God.
Oh dear God! Oh my
God, Adam.
Oh, how many times?
Twice.
Glossing right past that. Yeah.
Twice in one show.
Oh, jeez.
fuck are you doing?
Oh, thank you, Christian. He's here
Yes.
to save me.
Christian's
come to
on the.
rescue
He's
us.
on the beat.
Batman's here to battle a phantom.
Oh, which was another legal issue. The movie was originally just called The Phantom,
Yes.
but then the estate of
Marvel.
the guy. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was Marvel.
over the Phantom.
yeah, it
And
was.
Phantom
Yeah.
of the Opera. The estate sued over that. There were
No.
multiple lawsuits. Yeah.
No. It was of The Phantom, the
You mean
comic.
in purple.
They,
The guy in
they
purple.
both did. There were. I know.
Oh, yeah,
they
yeah.
both sued Marvel
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
estate of Phantom of the Opera. So, yeah, this God, this is so creepy. So
I mean, David
Phoenix-
Carradine's outside going, "Come on, kid,
Yeah.
turn it down a notch."
He's got a noose around his neck, getting ready to go. But go ahead and explain what's going on. in
He
this
died
scene.
masturbating.
Hey, can I borrow a lemon? Yeah, so Swan gets Phoenix back to his home, and in a very voyeur sort of fashion.
God, he's stupid.
Phantom is watching them have sex through this skylight in the house, and Swan is taping it.
There's a video camera. It's raining, so the scene is pretty ominous. But the video camera angles down so that Swan can watch the Phantom watching him have sex. And he's really getting off on it. And then, of course, the Phantom tries to kill himself.
Yes, but that's where the other big reveal comes in.
That's where he learns the hard way.
That he's immortal and he can't die unless...
Pintura, what is that? What do you call that again? The red paint?
Oh,
Tempera
tempera
paint.
paint.
Oh, I wrote
Tempera
that
paint,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, it's very temper. Look at that. It's not even dark.
But yeah, the contract terminates with Swan, and so Swan's original contract is what will get the ball rolling as far as the immortals dying, because
it's a complex legal system. There are lawyers who their whole practice is in soul selling. You know,
yes,
it's like having a closing attorney when you sell your house.
It's very thoroughly.
I want to
through.
sell my soul, but the paperwork.
Yeah.
God.
You know, and also in the 70s, remember, whether you were having sex or buying somebody's soul, you kept the Ray-Bans on.
Yeah.
They did not come off,
Yeah,
baby.
Exactly.
Well, when the girl's doing all the work, you don't have to worry about that. If
That's
you're a
true.
bottom,
That's
especially.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wait, what?
It was the same with Woody Allen.
if you're a bottom because he's laying on his back and nothing's gonna happen to his Ray-Bans.
Okay, that's not what a bottom is, but
If he's on the bottom.
oh, okay. Maybe look that
Facing
one
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
On the bottom.
Okay. Yes.
Gene,
If
you're
he's
not
not-
a top,
if
but you're
he-
on
If he's
top.
in the supine position.
If he's doing the forward-facing cowgirl, which I guess is
The
just called a
reverse-
cowgirl.
The reverse raincore. Forward-facing cowgirl. God. So if he's on
Regular
the bottom, excuse me.
cowgirl.
Sorry if I misspoke, but if he's on the bottom, his glasses would fall. But anyway, so now Phoenix is launched to fame, and Phantom is just sort of stuck with Swan until he can find some sort of loophole to get out of this contract.
Yeah,
And-
but fortunately for the Phantom, Swan has the worst security system
oh my God.
ever.
And he leaves
installed.
his doors open.
Yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
everything.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, Kyle was also in charge of security. And
Oh, you see, yeah.
he
no.
got so many
Hey,
bad Yelp
don't you
reviews
know.
from his, construction
Well, I can
work
believe it. I
that
can
he had
believe it.
to go into security, but
Oh,
he's
yeah.
bad at that too.
Oh yeah,
Poor
yeah.
guy.
My uncle, he hired him to do his feed store, and then, like 2 nights later had a Phantom in it.
Oh my
Oh
god.
yeah,
And it's-
But it
it's-
was fall, and that's the season.
And it's too bad he can't
Yeah.
hold down a job because his mother needs surgery.
Wow, kind of
I
blurred
know.
into something
I
there.
turned a little
Wow,
into there.
that's very avant-garde.
It's so sad. Oh my god. Oh, look at the Phantom. He's opening the records. That's nice.
Those
So-
aren't records.
You're
Those are reel to
unfucking
Those are
reels.
reels. I try.
Video reels.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Because he's getting the video of Swan originally selling his soul to Satan. So.
Quickly, get it off of SoundCloud.
Yeah, because and you would think
This scene,
you would think
this scene
Go ahead.
bothered the hell out of me.
Talk to me. All the people trying to audition for him. As he
Well,
was
no,
walking in?
the woman who's like,
She used to date him.
yeah, hi, I'm Susan Exposition, and I'm here to just reveal a whole bunch of stuff that they didn't have time to actually like do story.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna tell you everything.
because the other girls trying to hit on Swan are half her age, and they're like, "What are you doing here? You could be his mom." And she goes, "No, we used to date in high school, and he hasn't aged a day. I don't understand." So yeah, it's very Dorian Gray.
Yeah, back when he was Mel Torme.
Oh, do.
I do like the fact that they put him in the awful wig for
Yeah.
the specific reason.
In a bathtub.
I think he's
He looks
wearing-
like-
Well,
he looks like a little boy.
I know,
He does.
I know,
This is where
yeah.
he looks like Mark Hamill the most. I feel like they have that kind of blondish.
Yeah.
Well, the wig is clearly there so that they didn't have to work that hard to find an actor who could play the back of his head in the scenes where he's talking to the devil in the mirror.
Right.
Yeah.
You could have had, anyone could have been sitting there in that wig and you'd have bought it,
I wonder what the purpose of that mirror is.
Maybe not Idris Elba.
Ooh.
Man, he'd be great in this movie.
He's great in everything.
He's pretty good.
Yes, he does know the effect he has on women.
As the Phantom. Idris Elba is, my God, my career is off the rails.
In that case, who would be Swan to Idris Elba's Phantom?
I want to say Steve Buscemi. Because I think
Do you know he
Steve Buscemi would have so much fun.
Oh, dear
Well, no,
Lord.
actually, Ian McDermott, known otherwise as Emperor Palpatine, because he even at one point in the movie goes, good.
That's true. Is Dylan McDermott nice in person? Yeah, so you see Swan's tape, and the Phantom finds his loophole. He's going to destroy the tape so that he can derail the wedding between Swan and Phoenix and get rid of Swan for good.
It's like an X-Men plot. No, you know who he looks like in this scene with the Mel Torme hair? Have you seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Mm-hmm.
Boyle.
Oh my God,
He looks like Charles Boyle.
You have to expect him to like give himself a nice recipe.
Well, you see, Jake.
My hands are covered in butter from making butter. My hands are covered in blood from signing all these contracts. But yeah, so Phantom does see the tape, and he figures out his loophole to destroy his torturer and nemesis.
Fortunately, it all comes together.
It does.
I love it when a Phantom plan comes together.
I do respect the fact that the Phantom, even with everything going on in his life, and you know, it's a busy life. He's got a lot going on, but he still finds the time to do his makeup. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, that's commitment to the whole Phantom thing.
Hey,
But there was a slight continuity thing there. The
I
devil,
didn't see.
The Devil and Paul Williams both had the contract at the same time. He handed it to him, he took it, and the next scene he still had it in his hand.
And didn't he cross
That's
hands?
it. I'm out.
Yeah. So.
No, but didn't he cross hands instead of? If it was a reflection, it'd be their hands on the same side.
That's right,
so
yeah.
I know it ruined everything. That just took me out of the movie. I'm out.
God, what is he, 12?
I know. That almost looks like a young woman playing him.
I was going to say Ron Howard.
Oh. But yeah, so the Phantom finally understands that. He finally understands that signing a contract in blood might have been a little iffy.
Yeah, it's like somebody made a children's movie about, you know, contracts with Satan. You know, it's like Paw Patrol explains to this idiot.
Poor Lenny. He doesn't understand his strength.
Oh, no.
But yeah, and then he goes over the edge because he sees that Phoenix also signed her contract in blood. So that is unfortunate.
Oh, she's turning into Bernadette Peters.
But she was stoned when it happened. Does that count?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Wait, what?
She was not of sound mind. Look at it. She's wasted on something.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You get married drunk in Vegas, you're still married the next day.
Well,
That's why
the devil actually gave up the whole selling your soul thing, because I mean, it got to a point where every little soul contract was like 10 years in litigation.
Yeah.
He was spending a fucking fortune on lawyers.
I guess
you
so.
know? It's just not worth it.
Yeah. Ultimately, the price is just too high.
Oh yeah, and then Obama and the bottom fell out of the soul market, and it was a whole thing.
Thanks, Obama.
Yeah.
and see, that's the
It's a
whole
tough
thing.
year, 2000.
It was a bad year.
Yeah.
Jason, the devil did pay in money. I
And the
haven't learned a thing.
What if the judge sentences you to be my butler?
Of course. Oh God.
All right, next season on CBS. That's
We've covered all the shows. God.
Come on, CBS, hire us.
So yeah, I can totally see this wedding ceremony between Phoenix and Swan. This is so Sonny and Cher, like this big live production with people dressed in animal costumes and just running around dancing and singing.
Well, and they must have paid a fortune to have cameramen every single place in the building, filming the hitman, filming
Everywhere.
You know, I mean,
Very
that's-
De Palma-esque.
See,
very De
Kyle
Palma.
went on his break and the Phantom just like started a fire. God, Kyle's just so problematic.
Yeah, those
I'm telling you.
Phantoms, you know, I mean, when I was a boy, they weren't this bad. You know, I think they're getting worse.
Ugh,
I really do.
They're just so violent.
No,
you know?
why did? Okay, here's the crow
The crow
costumes.
bikini.
Here's
Caw,
squint your
caw.
eyes. Hold on, squint your eyes. Yeah, but why does he want to kill Phoenix? I thought it was.
I don't
match made
know.
in heaven.
I don't know.
I'd marry Phoenix.
Well, and
What are you
also
talking
there's
about?
a
He doesn't try to kill Phoenix.
yes, he does. He hires a hitman to shoot her.
Yeah.
Oh, Swan does.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought you said. I thought you were saying the Phantom.
No,
does. I
but
was
it
like,
doesn't
no.
make any sense. No, Adam's totally correct. Swan, it's like his gravy train.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense either. Not just for that reason, but she just signed her contract in blood. She's immortal too. How are you going to shoot her to death?
Yeah, that's
Plot. That's a plot gap right there. Brian, here, hold on a second. Let me call him. Mr. De Palma.
You were going to get a heated text from Mr. Brown later.
Yeah.
Deal with it, Brian. But yeah, so it's it's so ridiculous and over
Sorry.
the top. And the crowd is almost like under a spell. They just feed off the energy and just run with the violence, kind of like what they did with the Cantata show. Like with the Faust, they just freak out and people are crowd surfing and just losing their minds. And even when people start getting shot and things go south, they're just like, yeah, and the energy just
It's a
amps up.
bloodlust.
Yeah.
Yep.
An entertainment
You
lust.
know-
Look at this guy's tongue's out. You know, he's all excited.
Christian Bale had to lose 80 pounds to play that dancer.
His ass atrophied.
Yeah, I mean,
Now look at this edit. So he's filming her from one side, and then he's filming her from the other, and she's just spinning around.
What is this? This reminds me of some of your Breakfast Club's clothes, Mr.
she looks like she's having a fit.
Yeah,
Those
she's
are my-
just flinging her arms like.
She stole my dance moves right there. They were very, very Elaine-esque.
Yes,
You know what I mean? Little.
Running through the hotel where we film this movie, as quickly as possible.
And people are waking up because it's like 2 a.m. They're
I
like,
really want a rifle that I can keep in 75 pieces
Oh,
in an
yes.
attaché case.
some assembly
And
required.
put together.
Yeah,
dramatic.
slowly put
Yes.
it together and
Put it together
every.
slowly. It's more
Yeah.
dramatic.
Yeah.
I know this. Okay, why does he come out in a mask? Because has he already started to
aging.
melt?
He's aging. Yeah, he's melting.
aging.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
But
'cause-
he's a professional and he is not canceling the show.
no, he's not
Yeah.
canceling
It must
the show.
go on.
He's yeah,
Say what you will about that Swan fella. You know, he's a real pro.
he's an exhibitionist.
Oh, yeah.
To the nth degree. That's why
Oh,
I had to
yeah.
fire Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Kyle.
exactly why.
Kyle gets a hangnail. And no, we got to cancel the show. But that Swan fella, no.
Oh no,
he's
his
good.
face is melting off, and he looks like he just got a really
Oh,
bad
yeah.
chemical peel.
Oh, and his mom is so nice.
Oh, she's nice. All right. But yeah, and so even getting married in this state of mind, she signs over her soul and she's blitzed on pills.
I know. It's like.
Yeah.
It
she's
was the
pilled up.
70s,
Mhm.
I guess. And we've got a guy dressed as the Pope who I'm not even sure he's an ordained minister. I'm going to have to check with my church and see if he's
I
on the
doubt
file.
it. I doubt it if he is.
I don't
Yeah.
think he is.
Yeah.
And he's still got the sunglasses on over the. Over
Of
the
course he
face
does.
The pontiff hat.
Sex, stabbing, selling souls, the sunglasses stay on.
Oh, the 3 S's instead of the
Yes,
3 F's.
yes,
Got it.
exactly.
But for better or worse, Phoenix, I mean, you're married to a melted wax crayon now.
Oh,
so-
they killed my favorite character.
They killed the Pope.
Yeah. They killed the bishop.
And of course, everyone's
was
getting very
too
excited.
late.
Very
I
excited.
knew exactly where you were going with that one.
The bishop. And then the dramatic conclusion of the movie, which is that. Okay, so
Paul Williams, he's
Swan
melting.
dies,
He's getting old.
But when Swan dies, the knife wound on the Phantom,
That Phantom
opens,
inflicted on
and the
himself.
tempera paint comes out,
Yes. He explodes.
and then
in a-
he
And
dies.
Phoenix is
Well, he's trying.
case of the
Swan is
clap
trying to
goes
kill
away.
her.
Yeah,
But even at this point, you can't kill her. She's immortal and she doesn't have any, like.
he's trying to
wound.
extract her voice. Suck it out of her neck. He's
Yeah,
not
but
strangling her.
I mean,
well, and okay, so if
oh, is that the wrong grip on a woman to be strangled?
Well, yes.
You would know, wouldn't you?
I would.
there's no right way,
There is a right way.
There's a lot of
Very
wrong ways.
Wrong ways. Yes.
so
Tempera paint everywhere.
Phoenix's soul was owned by Swan.
Yes.
Swan dies, and then I guess does her soul go into probate? Like, does the devil automatically get it, or
Well, she's a
if there's a
contractor.
will?
She's a contractor. She can walk away anytime she wants.
Well, that's true. The contract probably says you can't assign it or anything. You can't like sublet.
It's not
a lease.
transferable.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's not property. She's not a lease.
Fascinating area of the law, soul selling.
Now, one thing I want you to notice here, as the Phantom is dying,
And she just now realizes that it's Winslow.
Winslow, yes.
'Cause he
When you get a
approached her
close up
earlier.
of his eye, you can actually see a hard contact lens.
Yeah.
In his left eye.
Well, it's like a whole prosthetic thing.
No, that's his right one. He's actually wearing, because he has thick bottle glasses, so for him to perform, he had to wear a contact lens. And when he turns on his side, let's see if we can see it right.
Oh yeah.
You can see the lens.
Yeah, you
sitting
can see
right
the
on the tip
lens,
of his
yeah.
eye, yeah.
It's amazing the things you notice when, a
But-
Birdman is crawling on
Phantom
the floor.
need saline.
I need to see. You have to buy me some contact. They were expensive back then too.
And that's the movie.
Well, yeah, and she does love Winslow because he dies right in front of her, and she because he accosts her earlier in the
Typical
movie,
woman.
trying to tell her like Swan's bad for you. I can't let them take the one pure thing. Like,
Well, he said, it's me, it's Winslow. He told her his name.
but she didn't believe him.
Yeah.
It's not until she sees his face that she really goes, "Oh, Winslow," and then just is sort of petting his head.
And then everyone is still dancing and rocking
Yeah,
as
that's what I'm
everyone's
saying.
dying because it's part of the show.
Yeah, it's
Part of the show.
Huge exhibition. Throw out your hands, stick out your toes.
Yeah.
Weren't expecting that, were you?
I wasn't. That was very well done.
I tried. But yeah, so now we just go back in.
Larry David as that guy.
Yeah.
We roll credits.
Well, it's funny because when the before the juicy fruits are blown up in the car bombing, they dressed the juicy fruits like Winslow. They all have on like blonde wigs and glasses. Did you guys notice that?
Oh.
They looked like Winslow before he had his horrible accident.
Oh.
And that dude just straight up molesting that poor girl in the bikini. The girls really got taken advantage of in this movie.
In the 70s.
Yes,
in the
70s
1970s.
Not
yeah,
now,
yeah.
not now.
I say it as
Oh yeah, no,
past tense
it's a
kind of
very
thing.
very saintly, very
Yes.
respectable business now. But
Even Christian knows.
so the movie ends with Phoenix still being alive. Presumably, Phoenix still has a career,
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
presumably none of that matters because this is an art movie.
It is.
So
It's
you
an
know,
art house film.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
don't.
so it's like you
truly.
said, there's no development for the characters. They're all
No,
just-
there's no antagonist.
they're still the same.
Oh, no, Phoenix might be the protagonist. If she comes full circle when she sees Winslow dying and she like recants her bad ways and
Okay.
realizes, I mean, you have to read a lot into it.
Yeah, you have to really stretch for it.
You know,
But
and I don't have the energy.
no, me neither. After
Hey ho.
after all this, no.
What the hell are we
Catching on
watching
fire.
now?
I don't.
It's like a laugh track.
It's
at
like the
end.
editor fell asleep on his machine.
But yeah, so Hindsighters, that was the movie. Now, Mr. Brown, you have to tell them why you made us watch this crazy.
Thank you,
piece
by
of
the way.
cinema.
Seriously, thank you.
Yeah, Jason really enjoyed it.
So I hinted at it before. When I was a kid, I was at my friend Larry's house, and HBO was playing, and I just saw the lightning bolt and the guy with the bird hat on, and I was like, what kind of crazy movie is this? And then I remember Phantom in Paradise, and I watched it, and I thought it was bizarre.
Yep.
But it left impressions in my brain, and of course that was 20 years ago maybe
When
when
you
I
were
saw it.
impressionable.
Maybe 30 years? I don't know.
Yeah.
40 years ago? How long ago
It was
I
in
saw
1992 when the
1992.
Kaiser had stolen all our zeros.
Let me do the mental math.
But what I know is while I was watching this movie, Bill Cosby was raping women.
There you go.
So there was a lot
Wow.
going
Yeah,
on.
there you go. Yeah,
That
Yes.
took a turn.
with the pudding pop,
He was the pudding pop bandit of the 70s.
the chocolate one.
So
Now,
to make a long story a little bit longer, I just remembered those scenes vividly, and I said, let's rewatch this to see if it has aged well.
yeah,
And I enjoyed it more when I saw it. And what made me even happier is little did I know there was a film that I saw that Jason hadn't. I mean, Jason
Yeah,
is,
that was surprising
is
to
a
me.
filmophile.
yeah, I've
since-
never seen this until today.
Especially since it's so off
Yeah.
the wall, because that's your whole game is falling down
Yeah.
the weird
Yeah.
movie rabbit hole and seeing what other people watch. So I
Well-
was really surprised when I heard you hadn't watched this.
I think it's a movie that
I was so surprised, Steve. Weren't you surprised? I was surprised.
it's available on Prime.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got to pay for it. It's not on Netflix.
You made me pay $4
It's not-
for this movie.
It's not on Netflix. It's not on Hulu. It doesn't really show up on like even, well, what used to be late night TV. You know, so I don't know.
Back in
I don't
my
think I ever had the opportunity. I think I would have had to have gone looking for it
Yeah, that's
to
true.
see it. You know,
But I did send you that screenshot from an article a year ago before Halloween saying that this
You
is the
did.
film you got to see.
yeah.
We're a year late, but we got her done. Over and out.
And it's
Back to you.
fitting with this closing out our Halloween season because this was released on Halloween, I believe, or right around the Halloween.
It was released like a year and a half after it was supposed to be.
Yeah. So
Um,
interesting. Well, I'm a straight 5 because once again, this is the first time I've seen this movie. But it was an interesting romp. I'll give you that, Mr. Brown.
Well, good.
yeah, I'll give it a 5 too because it's the first time. But I have a feeling if I had seen it before, my gut is
Edge it up to a 7,
Yeah,
maybe?
a spiritual 7,
Yeah, there. That's what I was going to give it a 7.
an honorary 7.
I mean, a
enjoyed it
satanic
more.
7.
Yes,
That's
it's-
more fitting for this particular film. So,
Are you-
I'm sorry, what was your score, Mr. Brown?
7.
7. Okay. All right, then. On that
Yeah.
lovely scaling note, this has been a completely trippy evening with a lot of incredibly eccentric yet talented actors. So, thank you for
not us.
Oh,
No, we're
No,
talking about
not-
the
the
film
film.
before us.
Yeah,
I mean, Sure. But
Oh, yeah.
Hindsighters, we appreciate you as always for joining us for your drive time, your listening time, your workout time, your crow-clad bikini time.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Your puby time. Dark puby
Your
time.
70s porn time.
Yes.
Or what it would have been if you weren't watching this. So
It just gets worse from here, folks.
it does. It's all downhill. So thank you for joining us. This has been Darth, Adam, and Jason with Hindsight. And good night.
Good night.